What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another live stream from Scalar Learning. I'm your host,
What's
Zayfa.
up, everybody? Welcome
Sorry, just doing a
back
quick
to-
sound check. All right, so here we go. We are in the midst of SAT Cram Week. We got the next SAT coming up this Saturday. So make sure all you guys are preparing and working hard, getting ready for that. What I am doing for all you is I am running this entire Cram session and getting you guys as ready as absolutely possible, which means each day we're going to be doing math problems live, straight from the source, straight from Khan Academy, taking practice tests in real time, which from everything I've seen has been the most effective way to get people prepared. You watch me tackle the questions. You watch me tackle the questions in an efficient and timely manner under real-time settings, and hopefully you can take that and learn from that and know how to react and respond yourself. But of course, after I go through the calculator section, which is what we're tackling today, then I will be taking questions from everybody. So make sure to pay attention, watch what I'm doing, and write down if there's any numbers that of questions that you don't understand and you want further examination or explanation, and I'll be happy to do that, and I'm going to do that today. So, and just to reiterate from what I said yesterday, we're going to do 3 more days after this. So today is Monday, we're going to have Tuesday, Wednesday, and then concluding on Thursday. Thursday will be a big day because we're going to do a full-length test, and there's going to be a presentation where I'm going to go over my 5 really big tips on what to do test day, little things to change up that you can apply on the day of the test to give you an instant boost of points. What I say is about a 50-point boost if these are things that you're not doing already. So super critical stuff, super important. I'm just going to make sure we got the calculator loaded, and I will be taking the calculator section of practice test 1 from Khan Academy. And I try to take this and mimic the real life settings of me taking the test raw as much as possible, but the caveat is you can probably find on other videos on YouTube. I have actually taken this test before. It's been a while, so it's a little bit fresh for me, but that's the goal, so you can see me problem solving up and close. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. We are going to start right now. Let me just make sure. We're having some issues right now with YouTube. You see, every time I try and pull up the comments, that's the only thing, so I'm not sure how this is going to work in terms of being able to see what you guys are saying. Let me see if I can find a workaround solution here. Let's go. We'll go here right now. Let me see if I can find a workaround solution. Maybe if I can see. Yeah, this might work. Okay, yeah, I think this will work. I think this will be my way of seeing the comments because I can see them up here on my phone. Let's see. Yeah, is this working now? Okay, hold on. It says, my name is Jugal. Hey, how are you? Hey, what's up? I'm good. How do I go to live? Yeah, I think this is it. Okay. And then Clumsiest. Thanks for all you do. We appreciate it. I've been binge watching videos for weeks now. Awesome. I love when people say that and tell me that. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And that makes me feel confident then that I must be doing something right and I'm providing good assistance and help. So thank you for telling me that. All right, guys. We're going to do it. We're going to jump into it and get going right now into the calculator section. All right. So 38 questions, 55 minutes. As you'll see when I go through this, we're really aiming for, I mean, this is a lot. You get a lot more time per question on the calculator section, but I'm usually always aiming to have a solid 5 to 10 minute buffer. I mean, I'm not saying this is always possible, but that's what I'm aiming for. So we're looking to have a lot of extra time. So I feel comfortable when we get to questions 35 through 38, which are tougher. Also, usually 28 through 30 are a little bit tricky. So without further ado, here we go. Ready. And yes, I am on time, Rhonda. All right, here we go. Ready, set, begin. Okay, John runs at different speeds as part of his training program. The graph shows his target heart rate at different times. On which intervals the target heart rate strictly increasing, then strictly decreasing? It looks right here. 40 to 60, right here. Strictly increasing, then strictly decreasing. There's no flat line, there's nothing, so 40 and 60, done. I'm just gonna go right to the next one. Y equals kx, y equals 24 when x equals 6. This is plug and chug. So look, y equals kx. Y equals 24 when x equals 6. We still don't know what k is. Divided by 6. We know that k equals 4. Okay? So therefore, y equals 4x. What is when x equals 5? Plug 5 in. Y equals 4 times 5, which is, of course, 20. Next. In the figure to the left, lines L and M are parallel to lines S and T. And less S and T. If measure of 1 is 35. Hold on, let me take a screenshot. Oops. Sorry. Let's move this over here. Okay, boom. If angle 1 is, so these are all parallel, like parallel. 1 is 35. Okay, so then that means this is 35. That means this is, I'm just going to fill it in, whatever. 145. This again has to be 35 because these are supplementary. And these are alternate interior. 35, 145. 35, 35, 145. That's it. I mean, you can kind of figure that out much more quickly because this is an alternate, let's see. What is this alternate? These are corresponding angles, 145. There's a lot of different ways, but I just fill it out and whatever. Angle 2 is 145. It looks like it's 145, so that's helpful. Next, 16 plus 4x. Watch what I'm doing. I'm immediately translating this to an equation. 16 plus 4x is 10 more than 14. What is the value of 8x? Watch what I'm going to do. That becomes 24 equals 16 plus 4x. Subtract 16, subtract 16. Now, 4x equals 24 minus 16, which is 8. I could divide by 4 and solve for x, but they want to know 8x. So I'm going to multiply the whole thing by 2, and I get 8x equals 16. Done. That's what we want to find. Not the value of x, but 8x. Next. Which of the following graphs best shows a strong negative association between D and T? Negative association is a slope like that. That's it. It's D. Negative association is a negative slope of like -1. 1 decagram equals, a hospital stores 1 type of medicine in 2 decagram containers. Based on the information, how many 1 milligram doses are there in 2 decagram containers? Okay. So a decagram equals 10 grams. So 2 decagrams is 20 grams. And then I can just take this bottom one and multiply by 20. 20 grams is, multiply this side by 20, 20,000 milligrams. That's it. Rooftop solar panel installation in 5 cities, blah, blah, blah. The number of rooftops with solar panel installations in 5 cities is shown in the graph to the left. If the total number of installations is 27,500, what is an appropriate label for the vertical axis? Okay. So that means this is 9, 14, 20, 24. Okay, so if this is 9, this should be 9,000 because these add up to 27, about 27 and a half. So it should be in the thousands. Number of installations in the thousands, not tens of thousands, right? Because if this is in the thousands, this is 9,000 plus 5,000, 14,000, 20,000, 24,000, 27,000, and that's what the total is. That's it. Next, for what values of n is n minus 1? Look what I'm doing. I'm turning it into an equation. Is n minus 1 plus 1 equal to 0? This is impossible, because I'm going to isolate by subtracting 1 from both sides, and we get equals -1. You can never have an absolute value equal a negative number. Okay, that's it, because this is always going to come up positive. At best, it'll be 0, but it can never be negative. So I know that that's impossible right off the bat. So you see, the thing is, I'm just instinctively, I'm translating things to an equation no matter what. It makes life so much easier. Next, A equals 1,052, blah, blah, blah. The formula shows the ratio in degrees of Fahrenheit. Which of the following expresses the air temperature in terms of sound wave? Look, this you don't have to understand anything. All they want you to do is isolate T. You see how all the answers are T? So watch this. Plus 1.08 T minus 152 minus 152 A minus 152 divided by 1.08 equals T, right? Because I got to divide both sides by 1.08, and you're done. This one. Okay, next. Which of the following air temperatures will the speed of sound wave be closest to 1,000 feet per second? Now I have to understand it a little bit better. Air temperature. The formula shows a relationship between A, the speed of the sound wave. The speed of the sound wave be closest to, oh, temperature. So we're trying to solve for T. So they want 1,000 for the sound. 1,052 equals 1.0. Oh, plus 1.08 T. Negative 52 equals 1.08 T. 52 divided by, negative 52 divided by 1.08. Negative 48 degrees. So it's supposed to be negative 48. There it is. Yep. Negative 48. Done. Next. Which of the following is not a solution of the inequality, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so I have no idea. You can plug and chug, but I'm just gonna isolate x. It's so much easier if we do that. Subtract 4. Actually, wait. Let's bring the 3x this way because I like my x's to be positive. So that's x minus 3, negative 5. X is less than or equal to negative 2. Okay? So anything where x is not less than or equal to negative 2, we're out. Less than or equal to negative 2, that works, that works, that works. Those are all less than negative 2 or equal to negative 2, not that one. So that's not a solution. Next. Based on the histogram shown of the following, which is the closest to the mean number of seeds per apple? Okay. 3 plus 3 plus 4 times 5 plus 6 plus 2 times 7. You see what I'm doing? Let me make this 2 times 3. Right? There's 2 apples with 3, 4 with 5, 1 with 6, 2 with 7, 3 with 9. Okay. 6 plus 20 plus 6 plus 14. I'm not immediately going to the calculator because I think it's slower. That's 32 plus 14 is 46 plus 27. 7. So then it's 73 divided by, what's the total? 1, 2, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 73 divided by 12. That's about 6 point something. So you see how I'm just adding up, making rough calculations, but the idea is I know that 72 is divided by 12 is 6, so I knew it had to be close, and they're not that, it has to be 6. So I did, added them all up, added up all the values, divided by the number of apples, and we're done. Next. A group of 10th grade students responded to a survey that asked which math course they were currently enrolled in. The survey data were broken down as shown, this table to the left. Which of the following categories accounts for approximately 19% of all survey respondents? Keep doing that. Okay. 19%. What's the total? Total is 300. So x over 310. Here, wait, let me set up the right proportion. So basically, which number is x out of 310 would equal 19 out of 100, okay? Cross multiply. 19 times 310. 5,890 equals 100x. Divide by 100. Move it once, twice. So it's 58.9. So whichever one is about 58.9 or 59, which is this one. It's closest. That's the second closest. Male geometry. Next. The table lists the lengths to the nearest inch of a random sample of 21 fish. The outlier measurement of 24 is an error of the mean, median, and range of the values listed. Which will change the most? I can already tell you it's the range, but let's just look at these values. Okay, look. The bottom line is I'm not going to go through and calculate all of these because that's a waste of time, but you could if you really are stressed. I wouldn't recommend it. In this case, look, my median is going to occur like here, something like that, right? If I remove this, my median is going to shift down, like barely. It's still going to say 12. My mean will maybe come down a little bit more. So mean is more than median. My, what else? Mean, median, range. Okay, obviously this is out because we already know that. So now it's either mean or range. But look at the range. It's going to change so drastically. From 8 to 24 is a range of 16. Now it's 8 to 16, which is a range of 8. That's a huge drop. You're never going to see that much of a drop from removing one value out of so many in the mean. So it's definitely range. Next, the total cost. And you see why? Because it was the highest value, or if it were the lowest value, those would have impacts on the range more so. Okay, let me see if I can take a screenshot of this too. Bring this back. All right, here we go. Next. What does the C-intercept represent in the graph? C-intercept is always our starting point. It's at time 0, the total cost. So it's like what you start with paying. You pay $5 just to rent the boat. The initial cost of renting the boat. That's it. Always. That's that vertical intercept. Finally represents the relationship between H and C. Well, I can already tell you C is like my Y. So C equals whatever my slope is times X. So it's going up 1, 2, 3 over 1. Plus my y-intercept of 5. And there's my equation. See how I did the slope? And you have to make sure to watch these units, that it's 1 going up by 1 this much, not like 4 or whatever, not to be 3/4. And you see they even trick you with the 3/4. But look, it's up 3 over 1, up 3 over 1. That should be an H, by the way, not an X. And there it is. Next. Function in the XY plane. Uh-oh. Come on now. The complete graph of the function shown in the XY plane. For what value of x is the value of f of x at a minimum? Boom, right there. 1, 2, 3. -3. That's it. That's your minimum, and that's where x equals -3 is right there. That's what it's asking. Wait, is that it? Hold on. Whoa now. I think I skipped a question. Did I miss something? No, I didn't. Okay. All right, next. How much time we got? 41 minutes. We're doing great time-wise. It's only about, what is it, 15 minutes have passed? So that's good. In the XY plane, if 0, 0 is a solution to the system of inequalities above, which of the following relationships between A and B must be true? So I'm going to plug 0, 0 are solutions to both. Let's plug in 0 for both. So that's, watch this. Y is less than -x plus A. Y is greater than x plus B. So I'm going to plug in 0 for x and y. So now I have 0 is less than 0 plus A, or A. 0 is greater than 0 plus B. So let's reformulate this. This is saying A is greater than 0. This is saying B is less than 0. Do you see? All I'm doing is I'm plugging and chugging, and all of a sudden I've got these two nice, really simple inequalities that tell me that A is positive and B is negative, which means obviously that A actually is greater than B, which this one is true. A is not less than B. It's impossible. This may or may not be true. This is definitely, we have no idea, because A could be 20 and B could be -2. So we have no idea if this is true. All right, so this one we definitely know is true. Next. A food truck sells salads for $6.50 each and drinks for $2 each. The food truck's total revenue from selling a total of 209 salads and drinks in one day. A system of equations. All right. So I'm already thinking of an equation, but $6.50 per salad. Let's call this X. I don't like S. Let's call this Y. Equals the total revenue, which is $836.50. See, this is the cost per one times the cost per one, and the total is $836.50. And then we also know that X plus Y, the total number of salads and drinks sold, is 209. Now we got a nice system of equations. And we're trying to solve for X. We want to know what is X, because that's the salads. All right, let's solve. So I'm going to substitute. I'm going to isolate Y down here and use a little substitution. 209 minus X. Now I know that Y equals 209 minus X. I'm going to plug it in here. So 6.5X plus 2 times 209 minus X equals 836.5. 418 minus 2X. And then 6.5 minus 2 is 4.5x plus 418. Minus 418. 4.5x equals 408. Oops, equals 418.5. Divide by 4.5. That's a good thing. It's a calculator section. This will give us x, our number of salads. 418.5. By 4.5, 93. I'm feeling like the math is good. I'm trusting it. There's the answer. Next. Just took a quick look at the comments, and I saw what you guys said, that you're saying thank you. Yo, you're very welcome. Happy to do it. All right, let's keep going. Alma bought a laptop computer store that gave a 20% discount off its original price. So let's say X is the original price. 20% discount of this is 80%. You're paying 80%, so that's 20% off. The total amount she paid to the cashier was P dollars. So this equals P, I guess. Oh, wait, hold on. Including a 8% sales tax, which is 8% sales tax on this discounted price, which means we multiply this by 1.08. Sometimes people ask me, well, why do you multiply by 20% off, why multiply by 0.8? Because that's 80%. So we're not trying to calculate the discount. I want to know the discounted price. So if we're taking 20% off, we're paying 80%. So we're taking 80% of the total. And then now we know we are adding an 8% sales tax. Well, my shortcut is, instead of saying, oh, let's calculate 8% and add that on, we just multiply it by 1.08, which is the original price with an 8% increase. It's much faster. And then now we have this equals this. And then which of the following represents the original price, X, in terms of P? And now we isolate. So we divide by we divide by, hold on, let's get this separated. We divide by 1.08 times 0.8, whatever that is. And it's this. And they don't even multiply it out, so we're good to go. Next. The data in the table were produced by a sleep researcher studying the number of dreams people recall. Blah, blah, blah. Group X consisted of 100. Group Y consisted of 100. Observed early bedtimes and later bedtimes. If a person is chosen at random from those who recalled at least one dream, which, hold on, let's copy this here. This is the mistake. I know that this can happen. You got to be really careful with these tables and the instructions. We're choosing from a sample size of at least one dream, which is all of this, because it's 1 to 4 and 5 or more. Choose at random from those who were called at least one dream. What is the probability that the person belonged to group Y? Okay. So we got a total of 39. 125 is 164. So that's the total. And the probability that they belong to 79. 164. Yeah, that's right. So 79 people are in group Y out of the total in one or more. So again, we're limiting it. We're already assuming we're just in this and we're not worrying about this data. That's why I don't worry about this or these totals. We're already cutting out that 36. And so it's 79 out of 164. That's my probability. Annual budget for different program table lists. Hold on. Let me take a screenshot of this one. Okay. All right, here we go. Boom. Which of the following best approximate the average rate of change for the annual budget for agricultural natural resources in Kansas from 2008 to 2010? So that's from here to here. Okay. Again, this is in thousands, so these are all really millions, not hundreds of thousands, like 358 million. Well, it went up by how much? Let's just use a calculator. 488,106 minus 358,708. It's 129,398. 129,398, but that's in 2 years, so divide that by 2. Equals 64,000, but remember we add 3 zeros. So it is 64 million, whatever. So 65 million per year is how much it's changing. On which of the following, which of the program's ratios from 2007 to 2010 is closest to the human resources? Okay. Human resources. Let's do a different color. So it's about 451 to 5921. I'm just approximating because that's close enough probably. And it's closest. Which of the following is closest to that? So 451 divided by 5921. 0.68 about, okay? Something. 0.684. So now what we got to do is divide this by this in each of these, right? And see which one's closest. I can tell this is going to be higher than that. This is almost 1. Government's out. Education. Education looks good because this is a little more than 2/3, which is about this. This is a little more than 2/3. So I'm going to circle this, but let's come back to it. Agriculture, 373 divided by 488. It's pretty high. 76 maybe. Let's do the other one that I thought, education. 2164. 0.719, so that's better. This is out. This is going to be way too high. I already know. Public safety. This is too small. 263 over 464. It's too low. All right, there we go. We've got education. Next. Which of the following is an equation of a circle? All right, we already know circle equation. You got to have this memorized. There's a song that I used to do this, but it goes, x minus a squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. So it's a music song that I made to help people remember this formula. So sing that, watch the video, and I'll help you. All right, which of the following is an equation of the circle in the xy plane with center at 0, 4? This is the center, 0, 4. So now I got a new equation, x squared, because the 0, whatever, plus y minus 4 squared equals. We have to calculate the radius now. So we have to use our distance formula because here's the center, here's the end point. So we've got 4/3, 5, and we've got 0, 4. So the distance formula says we take the difference of these guys, 4/3 squared, plus the difference of those guys, 1 squared, and the square root of that. It's like a squared plus b squared and then square roots. Pythagorean's theorem, really. So it's 16/9 plus 1 is just 9/9. So it's 25/9, which is 5/3. So then we do 5/3 squared, and there's our equation right here. Immediately, these are wrong because it's plus instead of minus. So B and D are out. It's either this or this. And you can see it's this one, A. Because they didn't square the 5/3. Yes, it's 5/3, but then you have to square it to put it in the formula. And that's it. Wait, did we get both of those? 22, 20. Yeah. Okay, next. The equation above expresses the approximate height in meters of a ball. T seconds after it is launched vertically upward from the ground with an initial velocity of 25. After how many seconds will the ball hit the ground? AKA, when is this thing equal 0? Factor a t out. Let's make it a negative t. T minus 25. So, of course, it's going to hit at 0. Let's figure out when this, I'm just crossing it out because I know this gives me a 0 value of t equals 0. And then what does this equal? T minus 25 equals 0. 25 equals 4.9 t. It's about 5, but let's see. It's 4.9. .1 seconds. 5 seconds. Next. Katerina's a biologist studying production of pears. She noticed that type A produces 20% more pears than type B. Type A produces 20% more than type B. 20%, 1.2, which is 20% times, like, added on to B is what A is. And then based on Katerina's observation, if type A produced 144 pears, type B produced how many? Well, solve for B. You see how easy this gets when we set up a nice equation? And this should be 120. Boom. Simple, fast, makes sense. As long as you have that equation. If you don't, it's a much more difficult process. Let me see my time here. 27 minutes left. So this is remarkably fast. Of course, I told you, you know, I do this all the time, and this is a test that I actually have solved before. So that's why it's going really, really fast. You know, you may not have that same breakdown for yourself, but you can see we're smoothly going along and solving everything. Square field measures 10 by 10. Immediately make a drawing. When they say that 10 students mark off randomly select a region of the field, each region is a square and has side lengths of 1. Okay. No regions overlap. Students count the earthworms contained in the soil to a depth of 5 centimeters. Results are shown in the table below. Which of the following is a reasonable approximation of the number of earthworms to a depth of 5 centimeters beneath the ground surface in the entire field? Okay. Well, these are 1 by 1. There's 100 of these because this is one square. Hold on. Yeah, 1 square meter. And these are 100 square meters. So this is effectively the number of earthworms over 10 square meters. So I could take all of these, add them up, and multiply it by 10. And we'll have our answer. So it'll be 10 square meters, and we want 100. So let's add them up. Six plus 149, 50 plus. I hope I got them all. I don't know if I did. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. 47 times 10, 14,710. Or 15,000. Done. Oh, and look how far apart they are. I mean, I didn't even need to add them all up so carefully. That's another thing. You can look at the answers and say, how close do they do they really want us? And you can decide then on how in depth you want to go. Yo, thanks for giving respect to the circle song. Check that music video out. Look for circles on the coordinate plane or circle song on my channel. If the system of inequalities is blank and blank, graph an XY plane, which quadrant contains no solutions to the system? Let's graph it. I don't know without graphing. And this shouldn't be a crazy long process. Y is greater than or equal to 2x plus 1. So if this is, let's say, I don't know, 1, 2, 3. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, etc. So my y-intercept is 1. My slope is up 2 over 1, like that. Here's my equation, solid line. And we're going above. Okay, then we're doing the other one. Y equals 1/2 x minus 1, 1/2 x, up 1 over 2, applying that slope. Go. And this is greater than also. You can already see we have a solution here. We're gonna have a solution up there. The solutions are where the green and the red overlap. Look, quadrant 4. It's obvious actually, because this one can't have any solutions in quadrant 4, so it's quadrant 4. And the quadrants are, in case you're not sure, it's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Two questions left, and then it gets easier. For polynomial p of x, the value p of 3 is -2, which of the following must be true. This means that it's obviously not a 0. If it were a 0 or a factor, if x minus 3 were a factor, then we'd get a 0 value. So it just means that if you, this has nothing to do with x minus 5 or x minus 2, because p of 3 means they're trying, it's like what would happen if you factored out x minus 3? Well, it's not a perfect factor. But if you were to divide by x minus 3, you would get -2. It's the same thing. Dividing by x minus 3 is the same thing as plugging 3 in. So it's D. Next. Which of the following is an equivalent form of the equation from which the coordinates of vertex A can be identified? AKA, they want to know what's this in vertex form. That's it. So y equals x squared. It's 2x minus 15. Okay, so I'm going to do a little complete the square, minus 2x plus half of this squared, which is 1 squared. But I'm adding 1, so I have to subtract 1. And then I factor this, y equals x minus 1 squared, right? You can see that this is a perfect square. X minus 1 times x minus 1 gives us this. Minus 16, and there's the format. And our vertex is at 1, -16, which indeed it is, pretty much. Bad drawing. It should be here, but that's okay. It's this. You could have also been like, oh, here's the vertex, 1, -15 or something. See, it's just a really bad graph because it's close, but this is 1, -16, and then you're done. Didn't even have to complete the square, I guess. Okay, here we go. These next 4 should be easier. Y can husk at least 12 dozen. So always jump ahead to questions 31 through 34 as you're running out of time. 12 dozen ears of corn per hour, and at most 18 per hour. Based on its information, what is the possible amount of time in hours that it could take Y to husk 72 ears of corn? At this rate, it would take 6 hours. At this rate, it would take 4 hours. So why not 5 hours? Sure. Right? I think that makes sense. Okay, I'm just going with it. Next, the posted weight limit for a covered truck is 6,000 pounds. A delivery truck that is carrying X identical boxes, each weighing 14 pounds, will pass over the bridge. If the combined weight of the empty delivery truck and its driver is 4,500 plus the boxes, what is the maximum possible value of X that will keep the combined weight below the bridge's limit? 6,000. I guess it says below the limit, so we don't want less than or equal to. 14x is less than. Subtract 4,500. Oof, I'm feeling pretty sleepy right now for some reason. 1,500. Divide by 14, and we get 1,500. The answer should be a whole number. 107. That's it. Because 108, I'm just going to double check. 8. Goes that plus 4,500. You see that goes too high, so 107 it is. Next. Did I get it? Yeah. 33 and 34 should still be pretty easy. Number of portable media players sold each year. According to the line graph, the number of portable media players sold in 2008 is what fraction of 2011? 2008 is 100. Doesn't matter that it's in millions because it's relative. 2008 is 100. 2011 right here is 160. That's all it's asking. 100 out of 160, right? Yeah. Which is 10 out of 16 or 5 out of 8. I don't know if you can actually answer 10 out of 16 and get it right, actually. It doesn't say to simplify, so that should be correct, but also if you could. A local television station sells time slots for a program in 30-minute intervals. The station operates 24 hours per day. Every day of the week. What is the total number of 30-minute time slots the station can sell for Tuesday and Wednesday? So that means in one day on Tuesday, 24. If there were hour slots, it'd be 24. Since it's half-hour slots, it's 48. On Tuesday, Wednesday, it's also 48. So it's 96. 35. 8 yards. A dairy farmer uses a storage silo that is in the shape of a right. A dairy farmer uses a storage silo, blah, blah, blah. What is the diameter of the base of the cylinder in yards? So the volume is this. So volume equals pi r squared times h. That formula is actually in the book. So pi r squared is the circle times h, and that's the volume. So the volume of the silo is 72 pi. And the height is 8 yards. We got to solve for radius and then double it because we want the diameter. So we divide both sides by 8 pi. R squared equals 72 divided by 8 is 9. Square root, R equals 3. So just plug and chug. If the radius equals 3, diameter equals 6. So be careful not to miss that because there's no multiple choice here. Very easy to mess that up. Now we're going to get into harder problem. That was actually pretty hard for 35, to be honest. But then we say, for what value of x is the function h undefined, meaning. When is this undefined? You have to know what that means. Anytime you see a fraction, it's undefined when a square root of a negative, which you can't do, but there's no square roots here, when a denominator equals 0. So it's undefined when x minus 5 squared plus this plus 4 equals 0. And then we solve. Now, immediately, I'm not sure how to find the values, but I know instinctively if I see things like this, I'm going to FOIL. So this becomes x squared minus 10x plus 25. This becomes plus 4x minus 20. This stays 4. X squared, this combines with this, and then all these guys combine. So we got x squared minus 6x. 25 minus 20 is 5, plus 4 is 9. Now I'm going to factor this. X minus 3, right? And this gives me x squared minus 3x, which is negative 6x plus 9. So my solution is it's undefined when x equals 3. And if you're unsure, plug it back in and you can see 3 minus 5 is negative 2 squared is 4. 3 minus 2 is negative 2 times 4 is negative 8. 4 plus negative 8 is negative 4, plus 4 is 0, and that's what we want. What is the value of x in the expression? Just go open a bank account that earns... what? Oh, there it is. That earns 2% interest compounded annually. Her initial deposit was $100. And she uses this to find the value of the account after 2 years. Yeah, that's one. It's okay. So compounded annually, this is going to be 1.02 to the t. Not 2%. Sometimes people might say, oh, it's 0.2. Remember, we're showing an increase in our compounded interest formula. It's this to the t, like this. So you're actually in here, it's going to be 1 plus that interest rate. So 1 plus 0.02, which is 1.02. I got another song for that one too. It goes like, it goes, A equals P times 1 plus R over N to the N T E, yeah. But that's for compounded interest where we're having an N value. So it's A equals P times 1 plus R over N to the N T E. So you can look that up on my channel too. But again, here I'm just plugging in 1 for N. That's why the N's are like not really there. We don't care about them. Okay. Last question, 38. How are we doing time-wise? I think it's like a ridiculous amount. Yeah, 13 minutes left, which is crazy, but that's how it goes. Now, Jessica's friend Tyshawn found an account that earns 2.5 interest compounded annually. So his, excuse me, his thing is A equals P times 1.025, and hers is A equals P 0.02 to the t. So this is T, Tyshawn, this is Jessica. Tyshawn made an initial deposit of 100. At the same time, Jessica made an initial deposit of 100 too. After 10 years, how much more will Tyshawn have than Jessica's initial? Okay. 10 years, they want to know. Round your answer to the nearest cent. Okay, let's calculate it. 100 to the 10th power. So Tyshawn, 128.00845. I'm just keeping it super accurate before I do the final subtraction. And then for Jessica, 100 times to the 10th power. 121.88899. 441. Okay, that's close enough. Now we're going to find how much more, so let's subtract. So it's 1, 0, 10. You could use a calculator for this, but 10 is 9, 0, 1, 6, and that's it. And then it says round your answer to the nearest cent. So look, good thing I kept this. We have to round up to that one, so 6.11. I think that is right. Right, we did it. We've done everything. I see questions, guys, coming in. So let me score this and let's see how we did. Boom, all correct. Don't have to review any based on that. Now let's go over your questions. Here we go. Okay, so clumsy he's. There's snow where I am, even though it's not much. Last I checked, it was supposed to snow a day or so after the SAT. Weather differs all the time, though. Who knows? Wait, what are you guys asking about? Huh. Hold on, let's see. The question with percentages where sometimes you have to add. Yeah. Okay, so Leba, let me start with you. Look, the percentages, anytime we're talking about an increase, if I say it's a 45% increase, okay, I'm trying to save a step. Like if I'm trying to say a 45% increase of $100, I can just multiply it by 0.45 and I'll get, I'll get $45. And then I want to know what's the total amount after a 45% increase. We take that and we add it to the original and we get 145. Or I can be a little bit faster and say I know a 45% increase. If I want to find the final amount, I add a 1 to that percentage, and I know this will give me that answer. So I'll get 005, 0004, 00001, 00541, 2. And there's my answer. It's just so much faster. So that's what we're doing when we're talking about increases and we're trying to get final value. Okay. This man's flying through some of these problems. Yeah, that's how I do it when I do the time test. You know, and hopefully you have the chance to slow it down and watch it later if need be. Okay. For 25, you could set h equals 0, move it over, and use the quadratic. Yes, you could have. You can definitely always use the quadratic. I just avoid it as much as possible on the test. That's my personal preference. So if I can, I do, because I feel like it takes a little longer. But if you're comfortable with the quadratic, it works every time. So you're more than welcome to do that. I don't know about programming it into a calculator because I don't know if that's allowed or to what extent that's allowed. It's a great question. If you can do it and you're fast with it, I would say yeah. If you haven't practiced with it, I wouldn't do it the night before. Maybe you can try do it this week and check it out. But I don't know the rules well enough if that's allowed or not. So that's something you need to look into, and I haven't looked into it. But otherwise, yeah, you should. I'm going to show you all the formulas. Actually, okay, if you go to my Instagram, Scalar Learning, and I think it's like 20 or 30 posts ago, there's a post that says the formulas. You know what? I'm going to load it up right now for you guys. Hold on. Let's see. Let's see if I can do it here. Here it is. Okay, here are the formulas that you need for the SAT, guys. So look at that, take a screenshot right now, and these ones you need to absolutely memorize. You should have these down before you go in for the test. And they're not that bad. Most of these you probably know. Quadratic formulas up there. And if they're not on this list, they're either not that important or they're provided on the SAT booklet. And there's a bunch of those that are. So take that down. Oh, they add 3 zeros at the end for 22. Oh, because it was in the thousands. The graph said on 22 it's in the thousands. So let me show you. Wait, 20. Oh, sorry. For number 22, because look here, given in thousands of dollars. You just got to read very, very carefully, and that's how I knew. Okay, but I mean this one, it doesn't even matter because they gave you this benefit. None of these are in the 50,000 or 65,000. You know it has to be. You'll get a clue there that you have to do that. Okay, so for I5 id 7. How you tackle the question when you first read it and know exactly what steps to take. I don't always know exactly what steps to take, but the point is that with enough practice, okay, look, I can give you the general ideas. And if you ever see a variable, you need to isolate that variable and solve for it. That's one thing that I can say. In terms of, you just got to read the question. What is it asking each time? Look, which of the following best approximates average rate of change? And I'm thinking rate of change, so I'm thinking how much is it changing each year? So just understand, pick it apart. It'll be slow at first, but you still got 5 days, which believe me is a lot more than you think, and you can still just keep hammering away and practicing. Practice the test, watch the videos. Practice the test, watch the videos. And hopefully you'll see my problem solving process, and that will help expedite your own and help to give you more ideas. Okay, where should my mind go right when I read the problem? And that's the goal, okay? Sorry, I'm getting a call. So I don't feel confident by dividing by decimals for no, it's better move the decimal. Yeah, you can do that. Leba asked for decimal division on the no calculator section. She's not comfortable. She said, can I move the decimals over? Yeah, you can definitely do that. I mean, in fact, look, you just have to do it balanced. If you're like 32.75 divided by 4.5 or something, obviously you have to move the divisor over. And then you're saying you're still not confident, so you want to go like this, but then you'd have to add another 0 there. You can if you want. I mean, I don't think you should be nervous about dividing by decimals because it's the exact same. Like, I would leave it here and then just go. Just know you put a decimal on top. You'll be fine. Yeah, 27, and then I think this will be the last one I go over. Okay, here's the deal. Let's go through it very slowly. Katrina, immediately when I'm reading this, I'm trying to think of an equation. That's how I'm always thinking. You present something in an equation, it's so much easier. Studying the production of pairs by two pair trees. You notice that type A produced or is equal to 20% more pairs than type B. So one way we could write this is B, whatever B produced, if we add 20% of B to what B is already producing, we'd get A. Or I can combine now these like terms, so there's an invisible 1 there. A equals 1.2B. The other way I started when I just set it up is I already know 20% more of something is you multiply it by 1.2. So now we have this nice equation, and then it's super simple. I think the mistake that most people make is they'll be like, A equals 0.2B. No, 1.2B. And then now we just plug and chug. Type A produced 144. How many did type B produce? Oh, that's 120. Hold on. There we go. And that's it. Makes sense? Oh, sorry. You said 27. That's my bad. Here we go. Got it. Okay. Thank you for correcting me. All right. So we got a square field that measures. Look, the bottom line with this one is we have this big field, and it's 10 by 10, which means it's 100 square meters. Now they're giving you estimates for all of these little 1 by 1. Each one is 1 by 1 or 1 square meter. Okay? And they're giving you 10 of these. Let's see. Let's see if I can draw it more accurately. Two, three, four, 5. Okay, so check it out. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And they're giving you all these values. Well, I already know that there's going to be whatever we get in here, which was like, I don't know. What was it? Let's estimate. It's about 150 times 10. So it's about 1,500. Okay. All right, so that strip is 1,500. But then, look, check it out. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2. And then we got another 9 of these guys, right? Or basically, if I multiply what's in this, there's going to be another 9 or 10 total. So 10 times 1,500, that's how I know it's 15,000. Okay, that's it. These are just estimates, and then we have to draw it out for the total. Okay, that is it for today, guys. I hope you found this helpful. Remember, we still got 3 days of hardcore prep coming up. We're going to go on to test 2 tomorrow. Hope you guys can make it and stay tuned for that. Email me, message me, leave comments in the questions, leave questions in the comment section if you have any questions, and I'll get back to them ASAP. And again, you can always email me at huzaifa@scalarlearning.com. I'll write that down right now. And please, if you like this video, guys, everybody watching, please click that like button. I really appreciate it. It helps me out tremendously. It helps spread the word about my channel and these resources. which I am providing for people for free, and I want them to do their absolute best. So make sure to click that like button and yeah, send it around. Tell people about it. Let them know every day this week, 11 a.m. PST, Pacific Standard Time. So we're doing it Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday to get you guys ready for this test. Thank you guys so much for joining, and I'll see you all next time. Take it easy.